You likely clicked on today's video because you expect to see armor shot at very close distance. And that's exactly what we're going to do in today's video, but before we did, I thought there was a prime opportunity here for some learning to occur. You see the term point blank range used periodically, and in most instances, the term point blank range is used incorrectly as we have used it up to this point in the video. Usually people, when they use that term, associate it with a very close distance, and that is just simply incorrect. When we talk about different distances as they relate to trajectories as far as the terms that we use, they're usually a function of what the bullet is doing at that point in its trajectory. So if we were to fire a projectile straight out parallel to the ground, we would never rise to the height of the sights and we would never hit anything because the gravity would pull it down the earth. The way we make this happen is we put a little bit of a vertical cant on the barrel so that the bullet is fired actually upwards and outwards so that it will rise to the level of the sight. So if we talk about a bullet that just left the muzzle, it would be at the origin of the trajectory and it would be at essentially height 0. And then as it moves through its trajectory, it's going to come up ever so slightly. It's going to rise to the level of the sights. And if we have also put a target at that level, then where the bullet crosses the line of sight is going to be the 0 distance. That bullet is going to continue to travel upwards to the point at which gravity is going to deplete, its vertical velocity vector is going to be canceled out, and then it's going to start to fall back down to earth. That maximum level is known as its maximum ordnance, and then as it falls back down to earth, we reach a point where we reach a second 0. It's going to cross that line of sight a second time. That is known as 0-2, or commonly referred to as the point blank range, as in everything inside of that second 0 is typically referred to as the point blank range. So now that we've gone over that, let's go to the range and shoot some stuff. The armor that we're going to be shooting today is this right here. This is an ultra high molecular weight polyethylene plate by Caliber Armor. I did a full video out on this right when it came out, right around SHOT Show last year. I just haven't shot it yet. So that's what we're going to be using here today. This is rated for level 3. So let's go ahead and put it down. I just so happen to have a Caliber plate from earlier last year, still where we left it last time. So we're just gonna, it's an ultra high molecular weight polyethylene plate, and Caliber rates it for level 3, which means it's good for 30-06, but I don't have an .6, so what we're gonna be doing today is using the 308. This is a single round of Fiocchi 308A. I'm gonna load it into this 308 from CMMG here. Well, let's take a look and see what we did here. No penetration. So we have some back face deformation, but otherwise, you did not have a piece of metal go in you. Let's do something else. So now that we have compromised that plate and it's completely worthless, I thought, you know what? We're out here. We might as well hit it with something else, right? So what I have here is one of my favorite items from 2022. This is the Henry Long Ranger Express in 5.56, and what we have here is a 223A round, and we're just going to go ahead and I think what we'll do is we'll move slightly off of the last impact and smack it and see if it stops it. And now for that 5.56 round, nothing. Look at that. Okie daisy, folks. Well, I think what we do now is we gather up that plate, take it back to the shop, cut into it, and see just how far those rounds penetrated and how much room we had left. Normally at this point in time in the video, I would plug our continuous channel sponsors like PowerTac, and all that information is still listed over the Linktree account linked in the description box down below. But I have also moved the Caliber Armor discount code up to the Linktree account so that it's right there in your guys' face, so you can't miss it if you want to take advantage of it. What I would say about Caliber Armor is I've been using their products for years. You guys have seen all of the videos that we've done testing various products from them, and their stuff is what is currently riding in my plate carrier right over there. So I guess what I would say is that they are great people with excellent products, and if you're looking to fill out your loadout, then you should definitely get them a look. And again, discount code listed below. So that said, I have put in some intensive time trying to get this thing apart, and I did. Now that is satisfying. At first glance, what I would like to say is that you can see the prolific anti-spall coat that we've covered multiple times from caliber has absorbed the gases from the muzzle quite well. It is basically melted right there and in the shapes of the devices that we were using. If we reflect this back, then we can see our two impacts there, again, 308 and 556. You'll notice that the place where it kind of divided out, the 556 projectiles somewhere in this little layer here. So roughly half the distance of the 308 is where the 556 ended up. There's a bulge right there. And I can sort of feel it, but I feel like it would take another hour for me to dissect that. We'll do that off screen and show you what we find. If we look at our 308 here, I want to say that it is penetrated down to approximately 2/3 of the way through this plate. There'll be a tight screenshot in there for you guys, but basically this bullet is completely disintegrated. And I would say that all that we really have in here is the copper jacket, and the lead components of the bullet have basically dusted. They have saturated the layers surrounding this depression here, and I actually had to cut a fair amount of it out to clean this up for camera. Now, the one thing I did want to show you guys, if I can just pull some of this out here, people are somewhat skeptical at how difficult this stuff is and how durable it is. This is a new razor knife, and to prove my point, I'm going to take a fresh cut there. This stuff's pretty tough. So yes, is it technically plastic armor? Yes, ultra-high-molecular weight polyethylene is technically plastic. However, these hundreds of layers do quite a good job at not only dissipating the energy, but breaking up that projectile into small fragments so that the armor can do its job. And this is a very lightweight plate. There is no steel backing on this plate. 10 layers less than the 308. Now, the reason I did it this way for the 556 is because when we broke that cavity open on the 308, all the loose fragments that weren't woven into the cavity basically fell out. So you couldn't really see where they were. They're all over the shop floor over there. By dissecting this from the back side, you can see the actual mechanism by which this stops the bullet. Not only does it fragment it, but it basically takes the bullet and extrudes it between the layers of ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene to dissipate that energy. It's a pretty cool look. And again, I'll have a close-up for you guys to see it here. I don't want to pick it up because I don't want to dump it everywhere. The question that we posed in the beginning of the video is, will a plate protect you at super close range? And I would say that, at least in these cases, yes it will.